Asia Rugby, the 7 series. It's Sri Lanka taking on Singapore here at Namdong Asiad Stadium as both of the teams charge off towards the ball. And here they are, Sri Lanka, Delani, Ayesha, they're very, very fast players. And if they can get a chance, they'll get people like Dasani De Silva on the pitch, and well, she's got the ability to run them in from pretty much anywhere. Meanwhile, facing them is Singapore, and Singapore, you may not see them score the end-to-end tries, but with players like Jane Chan, Alvina Al Yong, Amanda Ung, and Eunice Chu, Singapore can at times be a very, very tough obstacle. Ai Yoshida of Japan, our referee. And we get ready for the start of this match. Singapore in the red kick off, Sri Lanka in the green, white and black to receive, and they do, and they break out and they start already. You can tell they're bristling with pace, this Sri Lankan side. Try and find the gap. They almost open up. Singapore, great turnover though. My word, that's super work. And now they spread it. Hard back on the angle. Chan gives it off. Coming back on the angle. Olivia Al Yong. 8 is Chan again. Back in the action. 6. Jane Chan that is. And Singapore with all the early running. And maybe just the doggedness of Singapore as they get the penalty for the Sri Lankans not rolling away. Might be a tough one for this Sri Lankan side to crack. Great shot coming in from the Sri Lankan number 1, Wasana. They turn and switch it back the opposite way. It's Chan with the ball in hand now. She releases. Jane Chan takes it and carts it up. Chan out to Sim. Ball back in to Ung. Ung on the ground. Oh, little nudge forward. Singapore now within firing distance to take the line in the try. It's an opening try for Amanda Ung. And Singapore, what about that one? First try of the tournament, and Singapore take the lead. Using a Kazakhstan style of play, they've just ripped it right at the Sri Lankans and barged them out of the way. That's good, stubborn, robust play from the Singaporean team. Well, we were apt to start the game with an early score. Terrific stuff, Singapore. 5-0, kick to come. Oh, and the kick was sent off with the right intentions. There's no doubt about that. The direction was good. Amanda Ung. Well, you score one, Amanda. You can score 2, surely. Sri Lanka to receive the restart now. That's 3 minutes gone in this first half. So we watch, and it's claimed by Singapore from the restart. A little dart round the fringe by Sim, and the ball goes to Alvina Al Yong. Referees making the decision. It is actually a try. And Ai Yoshida, the referee, awards the second try of the game to Alvina Al Yong. Oh, Singapore starting with a hiss and a roar against Sri Lanka. Look, the break through the fringe was tremendous work by Sim. And Alvenia Al Yong, well, this lady has just been one of the most tireless workers for the Singaporean side. The conversion attempt was, well, made in the spirit of the game, but I don't think Alvenia will be excited about having to take another one. She returns now to the halfway line. Singapore leading 10 points to 0, 4.5 minutes gone. And this match, and the ball scuffs along the turf as it picks up the Sri Lankans, and almost Sri Lanka lose the ball to an intercept. Lost forward is the call. And it'll be a scrum restart. So Sri Lanka, even though they look full of running, don't they? They just feel... You feel like when they get the ball, they could absolutely tear the legs off Singapore, and they probably could. They've got the pace to do it to anyone but Singapore, eh? My word. And they defend the whole castle, not just a part of it. And now they drive on. They've taken the penalty, but they've sent a statement up front to Sri Lanka that maybe the best route for you ladies is actually around us, because we don't think you'll get through us. Or will you? Oh, just about away, Sri Lanka. Singapore cover it off, but here they come running, the Tuskers, and you can shut the gate now. There's Aisha. Scores round by the sticks, and that's the one the Sri Lankans have been waiting to let go. It's been bubbling up. And forgive me, Delaney, the try scorer. The conversion, was that a conversion? I think it was. We'll just check out the last action here. There we go. Through the gears, and there's not many in the women's side of the draw that can cover that pace when it goes. So Sri Lanka strike back in earnest against Singapore, 10 points to 5. Solidly claimed by Singapore. They've got an advantage. They've taken a penalty from referee Yoshida. Rolling away is the call. And Alvenia Al Yong, sets up the line out restart on the halfway in front of the grandstand. Singapore, set piece works well. Charge it up. They saw the opportunity to go through on the Sri Lankans, and they've basically got a rolling maul going. And Singapore now running at Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka defence compresses down on the ball carrier. Singapore trying to wrap around and find some space. Almost in the cut back in was Jane Chan. Now she's rumbling away. She does well. Sim gets it away quickly. 9 is Amanda Ong, the try scorer for Singapore. Now they snap it back. Ball is loose, but it's good coverage on the ground by Jane Chan. Now they push it back the other way. 3 tacklers on the Singaporean player. There must be space here for Singapore somewhere. Now they start hoisting it across the ground. That's a big tackle again from Wasana. And referee Yoshida has deemed that to be reckless. I don't think there was any intent other than there to get in there and make a spot tackle and shut that play down. It's just the technique wasn't as good as it could have been. As we look here on the replay, and yeah, I think the arms drifted high and above the shoulders. This poor lady copped the brunt of that. But her team takes a penalty. And Sri Lanka are reduced to 6. And they'll start the second half with 6 as well. As Singapore breakaway now. Off the left, they've got the overlap. Oh, they couldn't make the pass stick. And half-time is blown by referee Yoshida of Japan. And they go to the break. Singapore leading 2 tries to 1 in this first half. It's Singapore 10, Sri Lanka 5 at half-time. Well, may not seem like many bodies in the stand there at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, but it's probably because you're looking at the VIP stand. And the VIP buffet tent is in full effect. So, don't be too surprised if you find the bulk of the attendees from this side of the field firmly ensconced in some of the raw beef salad, which I must admit I've had a couple of plates of, much to the displeasure of my Hong Kong Referee Society colleagues. Patrick Kwok was horrified when he saw me tucking into a plate of raw meat. He thought I'd lost my mind. But I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I feel the same way when I see chicken feet crossing the restaurant in Hong Kong. Horses for courses, that's what they say. As these pictures coming to you live and direct. Lovely smile from our referee. Aye, Yoshida. Look at that. It's not often you see the referee jog over to retrieve the ball. It's something that some of our male counterparts could learn, I suspect. It'll take them some time to actually perfect the skill, but for Yoshida, it looks like it comes naturally. It is Sri Lanka getting the second half underway here at Namdong Asiad Stadium in Incheon. Sri Lanka trails Singapore 10 points to 5, and off down range sets low, and Singapore straight away finding a good tempo, good rhythm. This is some of the best rugby they've played in the weekend. They're really stretching the envelope in terms of their handling. Usually they're quite conservative. They like to play accurately, Singapore. But today, in this particular game, they seem to be throwing caution to the wind. So, a restart via the scrum. Feed goes to Sri Lanka, starting the second half with 6 players. They have 1 on the short sin bin period on the bench. Swisana yellow carded for a reckless high tackle. Didn't appear to be a lot of malice in it. So Sri Lanka now on attack, and quite rightly Singapore pretty keen to not commit too many bodies to the breakdown. They fan out. That's good defence by Singapore, forcing the issue out of Sri Lanka. Holding on to the ball was the call, and now they've got an opportunity again, still with the yellow card in effect. It is 7 on 5, 7 on 6, and rightly so. Singapore have called for the scrum, so this is good thinking for the Singaporean team. Sri Lanka must commit 3 or 4 to one part of the paddock. That means somewhere Sri Lanka is going to be heavily exposed. It's going to be a 2-on-1 to Singapore's favour. In fact, the advantage is gone as Wasana enters the game, and Singapore have run out of time to exact the power play on Sri Lanka. So it's back to 7-all. Opportunity lost by Singapore, but let's see where they're going with it anyway. The wraparound play, they try to get wide and around Sri Lanka, but they do start backing them up. Good strong counter ruck by Delaney. And Singapore bringing it back. Switch in the middle, short ball. Must look for the outside space if they can get it. Oh! Chan just about went straight through the middle and broke the line. Takes a penalty for hands in the ruck. Ong with the ball. It's Ong Pei Yi. Arriving now, number 8. Chan, but that's great defence. What a great counter-ruck from Sri Lanka. They've fought back for the ball. Referee Yoshida in the right spot awards that penalty. And out of sheer desperation, they've come up with some courageous defence. This Sri Lankan side, and they've rebuffed the Singaporeans, who looked almost like they were going to score, but the ball's not found touch. In fact, it's been a knock-on call with the assistance of the AR down the commentary touchline. And a little bit of normality breaks into the game. Just take a moment to set up the next set piece. Lock-on was the call. Scrum, 5 metres in. 25 odd metres away from the Sri Lankan try line. I'm sure Singapore would like to have them 5 metres away from their own try line. Now it's Singapore. There's going to be wide open space out here somewhere. Delaney gets on the gears and goes around the outside. Kicks it into gear, running with the wind. Running like the wind. Delaney blows them away. Outpacing the Singaporean defence. Almost coast to coast, and Sri Lanka are back at 10 all apiece with the kick to come. What a run. Terrific pace. And rightly so, a little bit short of breath. And the coach offering her a seat to take a breather, which is the right thing to do. The conversion attempt goes to the left of the uprights, and it's all locked up at 10 all apiece. Look, they just about got free. Almost the ankle tap, but they couldn't reach it. And Delaney set sail for the Singaporean line. There's the try. Well, tremendous score has brought Sri Lanka back into the action. Not knocked on, according to the referees. Just about a minute left. Well, Singapore, how are they going to do this? They've got to go from here down there, and they just about break free. Almost scoot through the gap. It looks like it'll be a penalty to Singapore. Well, will they kick it away? Are they keen to keep the ball in hand? They will. They'll tap and go. So it's caution to the wind for Singapore. They're going for the win. 30 seconds out from the bell. Ball bounces loosely, but it comes back their way. Ong finds one of her players midfield. They hold it tight. Singaporean counter ruck doesn't work. Now they're taking strides at Singapore, and they release. Still no room. All boxed up by the Sri Lankan defence. There's the hooter. They've got to find a way through or a way around. And Alvinia Al-Yong tries to do the job for them. It's lost forward by Sri Lanka. It's time off. And we go to extra time as we try and sort these two teams out. It's a thriller at 10 all. Well, second game in to the consolation bracket, and already we're starting to see how closely matched these teams can be after 2 days. at the end of regular time. It's Sri Lanka 10, Singapore 10, courtesy of 2 tries in the second half to Delaney. And Sri Lanka have battled back from the brink to bring it up even with Singapore. A hard-working, tremendously brave Singaporean team. Now they're going to have to dig deep. Now we'll see what sort of tenacity these ladies from the Lion City have got. Extra time period coming up, and if it's been a long weekend already, well, it just got a little bit longer, but it just got significantly tougher. Hearts are beating a million miles an hour, adrenaline's pumping, got the national jersey on. They're playing away from home against another well-matched international team. We're down, first 5-minute period underway. Golden score, next try wins, they used to say. Here's Singapore, oh, the chip downfield. Now have they got the gas to follow it through? Sri Lanka under pressure. Singapore get the ball, they get the tight head, they get the loose head and feed at the scrum. Well, enlightened stuff. The instinct to get the ball and kick it down range from Elvenia Al-Yong. Thought that may not be the right decision. Ended up being the decision she made, and they got enough pressure on the ball to generate the error. And now Singapore down inside the Sri Lankan half. But we know how quick Sri Lanka are. They can go from one end to the other. Singapore get it away. The ball comes loose from number 2, Eunice Chu, and it's lost forward. So now Sri Lanka get a shot at it from inside the Singaporean half. Some tension building here. There's some atmosphere building in this one. Delaney back to the pitch. 2 tries in the second half to bring Sri Lanka back and into contention. Here is the scrum, and they go well held by Sri Lanka. Now they move it with some magic runners. And the Singaporean defence, look at this over the ball. That is tremendous work from number 6, Jane Chan. My word, what power over the ball. And now Singapore, but an equally heavy bit of defence from Sri Lanka, and these two teams are just going toe-to-toe. You would think this was a gold medal final. The intensity that this one is being rolled out at. The next score wins. And they know the importance of it. Sri Lanka sweep away from the base of the scrum. Oh, almost up and away. Not releasing. A little bit of confusion, maybe a little bit of sportsmanship. That's all right though. Penalty goes back to Singapore. Some substitutions being made now. There's number 6 for Singapore. Or is it? I don't think it is. Possibly is. So some fresh legs into the equation for Singapore. They tap and go off the line through Sim. It's brought back. They find Ong. Ong up the middle of the paddock. Still on her feet. Now must be released. She's not been released. It's a tackle. Now a tap and go. Never the 10 metres. There's an advantage for Singapore. It may be coming in the form of another penalty. It does. And Sri Lanka, they have to back it up as quick as they can. Referee Yoshida will bring them back to the mark. Not taken on the mark as far as the referee was concerned. Time off. Looks like another set of substitutions as number 9 for Sri Lanka enters the game. Or leaves the game perhaps. Or is it 9 for 10 here for Singapore? Hard to say at the moment. So Singapore from the penalty. The tap, the restart. Sri Lanka defence, or the Sri Lankan defence up to the task so far. Coming up to the final minute in this first 5-minute period of extra time. Ball is there for Singapore. A lot of bodies around it though. Ong managed just to evade a couple. Here's the new player on the park for Singapore. Mohammed Abdul Ghaffur is her name. Sim gives it to Lowe, up to the 22. Ong, pick and go. With her is Alvenia. Al Yong, step from Sim. This is Lowe again into the action. At what point will the Sri Lankan team break? Will they break, is the question. Here's the ball now. Mohammed Abdul Ghaffur. Ball is steady at the back and it finds its way through Al Yong to number 4, Sim. That is the hooter. It's play on. We continue until we find the stoppage. Good defence from Sri Lanka. Penalty though, never onside at the ruck, and has to come back to the mark. Just that desperation to find a little advantage to make the score happen. Remember, golden score. If they score here, Singapore, it's all over. Eunice Chu taps and goes. Great big defence from Sri Lanka, outstanding stuff. They defend their line with pride. Now Singapore try and move it wide. Back on the inside, still they make the tackles. Sri Lanka must get out of the way though. Pick and go. They might inchworm it to the line here. Singapore, and another penalty. Back to the line. Off the mark. They've caught them on their heels. Singapore now absolutely applying the blowtorch to the Sri Lankan line. Sri Lanka hold. The Tuskers hold. Eunice Chu looks. Makes the pass. Ong can't get through. There's the ball. Delaney swoops on it. And a penalty again. And a yellow card. Sri Lanka reduced to 6 right in the death. The try scorer for Sri Lanka makes their way off the pitch. A devastating time to receive a card, but the pressure being applied by Singapore was too much to deny. They have the advantage. The ball knocked away from the Singaporeans. They lose yards, but they do have the numbers advantage. The ball trips over. Oh, these ladies are tired. You can tell as the skills go down the plug hole. Change around. There's no time to stop for coaches. We're straight into the next period of 5 minutes, I think. As referee Yoshida brings them straight back. There's no rest. There's no chance to get a chat from the dock or some coaching in. Singapore line it up. They're waiting for a start. Sri Lankan team mechanics will have to get themselves off the pitch. And that is just what it's it's as cutthroat as that when we get down to extra time. and Singapore start the next 5-minute period. It goes to 10. It's missed by Sri Lanka. Singapore flood down and into it. But the ball is with Sri Lanka, and now they take their chance to attack. Good step back on the inside. Defence holds for for Singapore. Now the run. Outstanding run, but she's lost control of the ball. Eunice Chu takes it. There it is for Singapore. Sim takes it away. Gafour looks on the outside, but Lowe can't drag in the pass. Knocked on. And one would think there's going to have to be maybe some last changes. As I think Delaney heads back into the game. So it's Sri Lanka back to 7.
Too late. Wait.
Red,
Could you go back, please?
yellow card period is over. Sri Lanka looking for space. Out wide if they can find it. They want to get Delaney into room, and they do get her into room. And that's it. You can put the full stop down. Sri Lanka have been able to run around Singapore. And she'll wait. The try is scored. The golden score is made. And it is all over. Sri Lanka win. Singapore concede. And it's Delaney with 3 tries in the game. Well, what a storyline. And that's just a consolation game. Final score, Sri Lanka 15, Singapore 10.